Elder Zephthah's ancient tentacles trembled as she addressed the Galactic Council for what she knew would be the last time. At 12,000 years old, she had witnessed the rise and fall of 17 civilizations, but none had filled her with the dread she felt now. "You fools!" Her telepathic voice echoed through the crystalline chamber where representatives from 47 star systems had gathered. "You absolute fools! Do you have any idea what you've awakened?" Council leader Vex'ilon, a being of pure energy contained within a geometric framework, pulsed with irritation. "Elder Zephthah, with respect, your warnings about the humans have grown tiresome. They are a primitive species confined to a single world. Their technology is laughably inferior to ours. Their fastest ships barely achieve light speed," added Ambassador Krill Kek, his cybernetic implants glinting. "Our scouts report they still use chemical propulsion for local transport. They fragment into competing nations, their children playing with fire." Elder Zephthah's massive form shifted, her bioluminescent patterns flashing deep red, a sign of extreme agitation among her species. "You see only what they allow you to see. I have lived long enough to recognize the patterns. The humans are not what they appear to be." She projected a holographic display showing Earth's recent history. "Observe, in mere centuries, they progressed from crude tools to splitting atoms. They went from ground-bound to walking on their moon in less than one of their lifespans. They created artificial intelligences that surpassed their own cognitive abilities, then somehow maintained control over them. Impressive for primitives," Vex'ilon conceded, "but hardly threatening to civilizations that have mastered interdimensional travel." "You're missing the point." Zephthah's voice cracked like thunder. "Every species we've encountered follows predictable evolutionary paths. The crystallines achieved perfect logic, but lost creativity. The Vorthans gained immense psychic power, but became emotionally unstable. The mechanical collective achieved immortality, but lost individual will. Each species optimizes for specific traits and becomes bounded by those choices." She highlighted human conflicts throughout history. But humans? They refuse optimization. They maintain chaos as a feature, not a bug. They preserve their contradictions, their unpredictability, their capacity for both creation and destruction. "Do you understand what this means?" The council chamber fell silent, except for the quantum harmonics of deep space. "It means," Zephthah continued, "that while we've all reached our evolutionary peaks and plateaued, humans continue to adapt infinitely. They don't just evolve, they choose their evolution consciously, moment by moment." Ambassador Thys, whose species had conquered 3 sectors through pure mathematical superiority, laughed with a sound like breaking glass. "Elder, you speak as if they're gods. They couldn't even prevent us from establishing observation posts in their solar system." "They didn't prevent you," Zephthah said quietly. "They allowed you. There's a difference." The revelation hung in the air like a toxic gas. Council leader Vex'ilon's energy field flickered. "Explain." 6 months ago, you voted to begin Phase 1 of human subjugation, remember? You sent stealth probes to map their military installations. Zephthah's display shifted to show the probe missions. Every single probe returned with perfect intelligence, detailed maps, technology assessments, population counts. You celebrated your superior reconnaissance. She paused, letting the implications sink in. "But I did something you didn't. I analyzed the data for patterns. The information was too perfect, too complete, too convenient. No species in galactic history has ever been so thoroughly mapped so easily. The humans didn't just allow your probes to succeed, they fed them exactly the information they wanted you to have." Ambassador Krill K's cybernetic systems buzzed with rapid calculations. "Are you suggesting they have detection capabilities beyond our stealth technology?" "I'm suggesting they've had detection capabilities beyond your stealth technology for centuries. While you've been watching them, they've been studying you, learning your psychology, your tactics, your weaknesses. They know everything about every species in this council. The chamber erupted in skeptical chatter, but Zepthar continued relentlessly. 3 years ago, the hegemony of suns launched a secret expedition to claim the asteroid belt in the human system. The expedition vanished without a trace. You assumed they encountered technical difficulties. 2 years ago, the trade syndicate sent merchant vessels to establish unauthorized mining operations near Jupiter. They never returned. Technical difficulties again, you decided. Zefthar's bioluminescence shifted to deep purple, the color of fear. Among her people. Last year, the Hive Collective dispatched a reconnaissance fleet of 300 ships to probe human defenses. They reported that humans possess only primitive nuclear weapons and kinetic projectiles. The fleet was never seen again. The Hive Queens told you they had assigned the fleet to other duties. The silence in the chamber was now absolute. I spoke with Queen Zixara personally, Zepthar revealed. The Hive Collective hasn't heard from that fleet since it entered the Sol system. 300 ships. Vanished. The Queen is too embarrassed to admit the loss. Council leader Vexilon's energy field pulsed erratically. If what you're saying is true, it is true. And there's more. Zefthar's display showed a timeline stretching back 3,000 years. Every primitive species that has attempted to establish dominance over humans has either disappeared entirely or suffered catastrophic setbacks that crippled their expansion capabilities. The humans appear helpless, invite observation, even seem to welcome contact. Then, quietly, efficiently, there would be conquerors simply stop existing as threats. She zoomed in on specific incidents. The Dominion of Eternal Night sent subjugation fleets that encountered solar storms and navigational errors. The Machine Republic's invasion force reported system malfunctions and unexpected peaceful resolutions before going completely silent. The psychic overlords attempted mental domination and ended up requesting admission to what humans call therapy workshops. Ambassador Thiss's mathematical mind was racing through probability calculations. The statistical likelihood of so many coincidences is effectively zero, Zepthar finished. There are no coincidences when it comes to humans. There is only the illusion that they're harmless, maintained by beings who cannot conceive of a species that has weaponized kindness itself. But their technology, Krilgek protested, is exactly as advanced as they want you to think it is, Zepthar interrupted. A species that can make their enemies disappear without trace while maintaining plausible deniability for 3 millennia is not primitive. They are the most sophisticated hunters the galaxy has ever produced. Elder Zepthar turned toward the Council's exit portal. I warned you when you first proposed monitoring them. I warned you when you suggested contact. I warned you when you planned this declaration of war. But you wouldn't listen because you couldn't imagine a prey species that had spent millennia becoming the perfect predator. As she reached the threshold, she looked back one final time. You wanted to break their 3,000-year peace? Congratulations. You've given them permission to stop pretending to be harmless. I suggest you make your peace with whatever deities you worship, because humanity doesn't take prisoners, they take students. And their curriculum is comprehensive. The council chamber remained silent long after Zepthar departed. 3 hours later, the first reports began arriving. The consortium's border fleets were sending confused transmissions about unexpected diplomatic developments and cultural exchange opportunities. By the next day, entire battle groups were requesting permission to attend something called Human Integration Seminars. Within a week, Admiral Krexer himself sent a formal request to Earth, asking if there might be an opening in their Peace Corps. The 3,000-year peace hadn't ended. It had just begun its expansion phase. And somewhere in the deepest archives of Earth's true history, a simple note was added to the official record, warning protocols activated. Galactic civilization successfully upgraded. Elder Zepthar relocated to comfortable retirement on Luna with full honors. Humanity's secret remained safe for another millennium. The universe had learned a valuable lesson: never mistake kindness for weakness, especially when that kindness has had 3,000 years to perfect itself. But the universe, unfortunately, was a slow learner.